welcome to a very warm and very busy England for a two-part special from history's greatest aircraft from the Farnborough International Airshow. So it's the second day of the Farnborough International Airshow. We are guests of Oklahoma, the great state of Oklahoma. They've got their booth here and they're very kindly allowing us to, as Luke, our production director, tries to dodge the traffic, they're very kindly allowing us to use their booth as a base while we show you all the stuff that's going on here. Keisha is at the front desk, waiting for all the guests to arrive. She's been looking after us, getting our drinks and all the rest of it. We'll take you for a quick run around the Oklahoma stand. We're fortunate to have a base here, Oklahoma empowering that for us, and it's a fantastic state in terms of aerospace. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a while. But of course, we're going to do what history's greatest aircraft does best. We're going to get out, we're going to see some of the stuff that's on the flight line, some historic aircraft. There's one or two here. We're going to see some of the great jets as well. So I know you're going to ask me, what is that to do with history's greatest aircraft? Well, you know what, our definition of history's greatest aircraft is very, very broad. So B-52 is going to be here, F-16, F-15, F-35, a lot of helicopters, and there's some historic stuff here as well. A couple of little spotter planes. I think there's going to be a Beaver here and one or two other things. So that's great. We're also going to have the opportunity to meet some of the folks from Oklahoma who have empowered this. Now, any of you who've been following history's greatest aircraft for the last couple of years will know we do a lot of stuff in Oklahoma because we've been based there for a while. So you've got some of the booths unmanned at the moment, but you've got some of the really, really strong aviation companies that really empower, not necessarily building aircraft, but stuff like MRO, maintenance, repair, overhaul. They're actually going to be here. Actually, there's a briefing going on here. So it gives you an idea of the level of business here. Let's sneak through and have a quick word with Becky from the Commerce Department. We're speaking fairly quietly. Obviously a briefing going here with some international partners and stuff. How busy has it been so far for Oklahoma here?
Oh my goodness, it's been a fantastic show. We've stayed busy with different companies, partners, other states coming to know what is Oklahoma doing, what is our story, and it's been fantastic. It's our aerospace and defense is our second largest industry and the fastest growing in our state. So this is a great show for us.
So I read 682 million in exports, and I think that makes it. I think it's only like the nuclear power industry that's more, and 62,000 people in Oklahoma employed by foreign invested or foreign owned companies. Yeah. Good, and some of those are British, aren't they?
We love that.
Yes.
See, we can work together.
Great. So you've got lots of guests around you, thankfully lending us some of your team. So Grace and I know Director Ardies.
Yes.
And Leisha and yourself. We're going to try and break out and have a look at the flight line. See some of the stuff that's there. Really appreciate it. We'll let you get on with your briefing. So, thank you, Becky. So, incredibly busy. All sorts of companies here. There's a company called Tubicex America. Tubicex. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. It's probably the managing director who's standing in front of me. But there's lots of the smaller companies that are here, and they've got an opportunity to show some of the stuff they make. I'm going to rudely go in. I'm not going for the chocolate bar. I'm going to try. And so, you know, when you think about who's making the stuff and who's making it where in America, this is the kind of stuff. This is probably some hydraulic line for I don't know. But Bruce is going to tell us. Yeah. Bruce, you're from. How are we pronouncing your company?
It's Tubicex.
It is Tubicex, as you possibly know, with a team from history's greatest aircraft. Do you know what? We were on a B-17 crash site. Probably a couple of weeks ago, and I've got to say, and it just shows the longevity of these things, we were pulling up stuff that looked a lot like this, that had crashed into the ground 80 years ago. Yeah. So you guys are around and you're making this stuff. Just tell us quickly what you do.
Well, we make fuel lines, hydraulic lines for commercial, military, and what you're holding in your hand is for rockets.
For rockets?
Rockets.
As a piece of a rocket. See, this is the kind of thing our audience get excited about.
And these are fuel lines,
right?
Oxygen lines for our customer, and they are parts. We make the tubing,
Right.
We make the straight tubing,
Right.
and then it gets bent into the parts, gets flared.
Wow.
The fittings are fitted at every end, and it becomes a part that they pull in to actually
So,
put on.
so what's remarkable though is, and this is just where we're trying to touch on, some of the ways that history has carried forward, and how there's lots and lots of innovation, but sometimes the work that you have to do that's been a standard forever still needs to be done to standard. Because that to me looks beautiful flare on that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? But that to me looks like, I think somebody from World War II would recognise that as that's awesome, and yet that's up inside a rocket. Thanks a lot. And the company is called Tubasex. I've spoken too long. I think we had 2 minutes, did we? My producer's going to tell me there. Yeah, my production director Luke's told me we had 2 minutes on this section. In fact, we've now taken 10 minutes or something similar. It is incredibly busy, but I know what you're here for. You are here to see some sexy aircraft doing their stuff. Here's what's coming up.
Well, I've never had the luxury of flying something that fast. I wish I could, but I can say any kind of flying is good flying tonight.
So I think we've actually got the luxury of having some on board of not this actual aircraft doing this manoeuvre, but we've got some on board footage that we're going to be cutting in while we're talking of a very, very similar display to give us a perspective of that. What's history's greatest aircraft? Come on, try and make a choice.
You said the B-52.
Yeah, it's
I
up
mentioned
there.
that.
I think
It's
up
up
there.
there for me,
Yeah.
just because of an Oklahoma perspective. Certainly, we've seen some F-14s, 15s, F-35s out here.
F-15's very popular with us.
F-15,
Yeah.
okay. The F-15, and we've seen some of the air show out here. So that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Certainly hard to beat.
Another, I'm going to jump in on this one. And see, you're hearing it, and totally, we haven't talked about it, so totally unprompted. We are very close to the F-15 being history's greatest aircraft. You'll be surprised at, as we've said, whilst you don't necessarily get aircraft rolling off the line in Oklahoma, the parts that make them work, a lot of those are manufactured in Oklahoma or overhauled in Oklahoma. Tinker Air Force Base we'll be talking about later on with one or two of the government officials. The F-35 as an example, a lot of the mission components, a lot of really critical parts of the guidance systems, some of which use very rare earth magnets. I don't mean they're very rare, I mean they're rare earth magnets, all manufactured in Oklahoma. So even though it doesn't look like the state that has planes rolling out of the production lines is really, really critical to the industry. I was just actually down on the flight line with, I'm going to interrupt Becky again from the state of Oklahoma from Congress. Did you see the F-35s?
Oh my goodness.
It's fantastic, wasn't it?
That was the highlight.
Absolutely fantastic. So I think am I right in saying, I know some stuff is sort of confidential, but there's quite a lot of internal components that are made for the F-35 and a lot of other stuff, but right there in Oklahoma, yeah?
There is, yeah.
So a lot of the industry is almost, I don't want to say hidden, but it's a very sort of discreet industry, isn't it?
Sure, it's the hidden gems in the sky.
Yeah. What's been your favourite so far? I haven't seen the B-52.
B-52, but I'm going to have to say the F-35 takes
It does. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, Becky, I'll leave you diligently working away, despite this sort of melee that is going on around us. Okay, so we are blessed to have Grace Nardes with us, Director Nardes, old friend of ours from what is now called the Oklahoma Aeronautics and Aerospace. Luke's laughing because I've forgotten. It used to be, anyway, it's called Oklahoma Aerospace and Aeronautics, OAA. It isn't it, Becky? It's called Oklahoma Aerospace and Aeronautics. That's what Grayson runs. Yes, right, okay. Thank God we've got a local producer with us. So that's the organisation that kind of organises the airports and makes sure that everybody's running within the rules, and also sits on a lot of budget to develop rural airports, but also takes care of the issues that fall between the military and the public for places like Tinker. Tinker we will talk about in a big way, but first off, let's take a look at what Grayson's been finding.
Hello,
Grayson
how are
RDs.
you doing, sir?
Yeah, really
Good
good.
to see ya.
Really good. Have you got a few minutes to come and have a walk with us?
Absolutely, let's
Absolutely great. So, may I call you Grayson?
go. Absolutely.
So, Grayson runs the department of the
Department of
part of-
Aerospace
yeah.
and Aeronautics now.
What I was trying to do was explain what you do. So, you're involved in the legislation.
So we're involved in legislation, investment of infrastructure dollars across the state, promotion and advocacy for aerospace and defense, our state's second largest industry. We are the state agency for aerospace and defense in the great state of Oklahoma.
You basically keep all the airports going as well,
We
don't
keep
you?
the airports
Well,
going. We make sure that the workforce, the curriculum activities of Oklahoma are doing well. We're trying to make sure that this industry has the proper activities to become our #1 economic driver for the state.
So we were delighted to work with you on the Inside the Sky, the history
Yes.
of the Oklahoma aerospace industry.
Yes.
How many airports? We're going to go and take a look at some of these
Yes,
aircraft. Well, I want you
yes,
out here.
we can't wait to see what's out there.
How many airports has Oklahoma got? They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. We got 108 airports across the state that we invest in on a regular basis.
We actually generated these sound effects.
I know.
It's not really happening. That's
Yeah.
what we call Foley that's
Yeah.
been played
Yeah.
in. 100 airports across the state.
108 airports across the state of Oklahoma, from really large Will Rogers, Tulsa,
Yeah.
all the way down to some
We love
very
Will
small
Rogers.
airports.
Have a lot of those emerged over the years because they were close to sort of oil communities?
So oil and gas communities, old World War II airports from
a lot of training. I
a
suppose.
lot of training bases in
Yeah.
Oklahoma. F-15.
Right.
Ironic that we see the F-15 going right over top of the Boeing chalet right here, right? nothing
at
better.
that.
Look at that.
Jeez. As a pilot, how scary is that? Because as he's topped out, he's gone
He's going
into
into the
clouds.
clouds. Yeah. Well, I've never had the luxury of flying something that fast. I wish I could, but I can say any kind of flying is good flying to do.
We've been having a great debate. Because the series is called History's Greatest Aircraft, we've been having a debate, and it's like a debate that will go on forever.
Forever, yes.
Of what is history's greatest aircraft. Now, all rules are off.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's standing the thing on his
He's
tail.
just
That's
standing
just
up right
amazing.
there.
So all rules and all bets are off on what history's greatest aircraft is. So what do you think history's greatest aircraft was?
My personal favorite is the P-51. The
with-
look, the sound, the feel, all of it. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, you're not alone in that. I think there is no official poll. It's an unofficial poll that we run. I'd have to say the P-51 is probably right up there.
Yep.
Spitfire, but that's a bit of a British thing.
That's, well, we
Yes.
are over here. Yes, I get it.
exactly.
I get it.
But do you know what? And we were just talking to Lieutenant Governor Pinnell about this. Right now, the F-15 is getting right up there for
Oh,
us.
really?
Well, I think its kill record is really impressive. And of course now, when you think, like, let's just say we were talking in the 1970s.
Yes.
So you'd be talking about an aircraft that was 30 years old, so you could say, yeah, Mustang, Spitfire, 30 years old, history's greatest aircraft. Well, the F-15 is like
Is
30
plus years old now.
Years old.
Yeah.
So we think it's a strong case for it to be history's greatest aircraft. I'll tell you what I think though is really interesting is the point that we're at right now in terms of aviation, because I mean you look at an F-16, F-15, Even the F-35, none of these are new designs. You know, we might all be watching the F-35 come in at Marham and like, wow, it's exciting, it's the new F-35. F-35's been in development for what, 15 years, something like that, I'm not entirely sure. F-15 and F-16, good God, you're going back in terms of the concepts for them, you're going back to the 70s and the 80s. And in fact, some of them coming into service in the late 80s. So when you think there's F-22 is an interesting example. So the F-22 was going to be this kind of next exciting thing. So F-117 Blackbird, you know, phased out, special missions and so on, and then eventually sort of parked up, with the exception of a couple of them kept flying for testing radar signature or whatever. So the F-22 was, you know, the next stealth aircraft, and the F-35 was maybe not a derivative of the F-22, but a derivative of that concept of stealthy combat. But now you don't have any real contenders. You know, the Typhoon was in the same kind of genre, the same kind of niche. So, you know, it's aircraft like that. You know, the Reaper. I mean, that's a turboprop aircraft that does, I don't know, a few hundred miles an hour. You know, that has become the future of combat to a degree. You see the F-35 sitting alongside it, newest, hottest, tastiest thing, but newest, hottest, tastiest thing that's 25 years old in terms of concept and development. So you've got to sort of ask yourself, where is the next aircraft? Because what we're looking at, to bring things full circle, is what we're looking at is some of the future history's greatest aircraft.
Well, listen, I want to say thank you to our Oklahoma partners. Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell, certainly proud to be here representing the great aerospace state of Oklahoma, the best state to live, work, and raise a family. I love South Carolina too, but we love Oklahoma. We love Oklahoma, and we love the United States. Certainly the presence that we have here from many states around the United States is certainly points to how big aerospace is growing in the United States and all the deal flow that we have in the States. We have 4 big announcements that we've been able to make here this week, but I want to start off by thanking our sponsors for our reception. SimStar, where's SimStar? Thank you, SimStar. There we go. Avtrac and Osida, thank you all so much for being sponsors. Kratos, it's certainly a huge partner for us in Oklahoma, had a big announcement this week. Claremore based, I have to say Claremore based because we love Claremore, home of Will Rogers. MST Manufacturing right here, thank you for being here with us. They've been here 8 straight years, 8 or 9 straight years, so we can't thank you enough for being here, and again, congratulations to you on a big announcement. Tulsa-based Nomad signing an agreement, certainly with the defense line. Thank you, Nomad. And we also have a rebrand. You can see it right over there. Acorn Capital Management. They've been certainly an amazing partner in Oklahoma in the partnerships and contracts that they sign around the country and around the world are world class. What we want every other state and every other partner, and certainly countries around the world to know, is that our state in Oklahoma, it's the number 2 industry in the state of Oklahoma today, is our aerospace and defense industry work. It has grown by leaps and bounds over the last 20 years. It's a completely different state today than, again, it's 2024, not 1984 Oklahoma. And Oklahoma City being the 20th largest city in America today is a big reason why. It's a big hub, not just in Oklahoma, but in the country. The migration to the middle of the country is real, and it's happening, and the aerospace growth is coming with it. There's a few other partners here that I want to make sure. Representative Anthony Moore is with us that represents, we talk about the spaceport that we have in Oklahoma, one of 12 in America. Anthony Moore is with us. Thank you, Anthony, for being here. We also have Secretary John Nash. He's been in a number of meetings with me. Secretary of Military Affairs, Veteran Affairs, thank you. Excellent, thank you for being here. And a number of city and state partners that we have as well. We want to do more business with you. And for us to be able to do that, we have to be here. So with that, enjoy your time. Enjoy again. We have beverages, I believe, for you. And enjoy the rest of the show the next couple days. Again, Oklahoma is open for business. We want to be the most pro-business state that you can find to do business with, best state to live, work, and raise a family. So thank you for being here with us and partnering with us. Thank you all so much.
It's been an exhausting day for us so far, and there's another day or a couple of days to come. I'm going to say thank you very much to Luke Holliday, who has been shooting, producing and doing everything else for me today. Ella Jackson, who's been on site with us, Becky, Alicia and all of the team from Oklahoma who've been hosting us and enabling this to happen. And we'll see you next time.